Well, the former CEO of Starbucks says the company needs to refocus on its customer experience in the U.S. after the coffee giant underperformed in the last quarter. Howard Schultz, who stepped away from the board last year, wrote in a LinkedIn post, quote, "The stores require a maniacal focus on the customer experience through the eyes of a merchant. The answer does not lie in data, but in the stores." So Wall Street Journal reporter Heather Haddon is following this, and she's here to talk a little bit about this. I got to say, when I read what he had to say, I didn't think he was wrong about it at all. That being said, I was also thinking, I thought you weren't in charge anymore. I thought you didn't want this job anymore. Right. Isn't it a headache? So Heather,
yes, I'm not in charge anymore. But.
So walk us through the areas Schultz says that Starbucks needs to focus on, because I actually do feel like the customer experience.
It's pretty lame now.
It's a little cafeteria-like sometimes.
It's not good.
In the U.S., not in other places.
Not because they never get my name right, but just because overall it's not.
All right, what did he have to say?
So, yeah, he did start that letter by saying he is not in charge anymore, but he still has opinions. He's also a big company shareholder. So, he has some right to express some of those opinions. And, yeah, he basically said that the U.S. business is at the core of what needs to be fixed about the company, that the company needs to do a better job of really focusing on service, about being a real merchant again and making sure its customers are happy. And part of that has to do with really improving the company's mobile app and payment system, which it has been a pioneer in. But, the current CEO, Lakshman, did acknowledge that it needs work as well, that too many people are going to the store and their coffee is not ready. They've ordered ahead on the app, but there's a long line. Some people aren't even actually executing their transactions. They're so frustrated because the wait to get their coffee served to them is too long and they just give up. So the company itself acknowledges it has an issue in this domain, and Howard is just kind of nudging them to, keep that focus on the customer, make sure it improves its U.S. operations. And he did end the note by saying he believes the company can do that because it's such a brand leader.
The challenge, though, Heather, not just for Starbucks, but for every sort of fast food retailer is you want the customer service experience to be quality, but you don't pay enough to hire quality people. And I'm not suggesting that people that work at Starbucks are not quality. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, you have to offer people a living wage. They have to feel as if
Starbucks was pretty good. There's, health insurance and, as far as a job like that goes, I thought Starbucks was actually doing quite well. What I thought you were going to say, and you can, of course, disagree with me, is that we are talking about volume.
That's
and
what
once
I'm
you're
saying.
depending on volume, they don't have the time to give you the personal touch.
They don't have the time is right. And also the motivation, because you're seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of customers practically every hour.
Yeah, you highlight a number of issues. I mean, Starbucks traditionally has been a leader on pay and benefits, but during the pandemic, all these chains suffered a lot. They've had to hire a lot of new workers to staff up. They say they have now done that. But just like you said, I mean, the volume of orders and the complexity of these orders, I mean, all these kind of foams and syrups and infusions, I mean, it just makes the business much more complicated. Meanwhile, you and me going in for our black coffee or just normal coffee are kind of at the mercy of some of these complexities. So the company has been investing in new equipment. They're trying to, they say the training of their workers has gotten much better, that they have a more full stores when it comes to staffing. But a lot of these things are going to take time to just sort out all these issues that have come with so much growth and so much demand and so much of these intricate beverages all at once.
You make such a good point, because I'm just a regular coffee person. Well, actually, I'm a double person. That's a Canadian term for people. Double cream, double sugar. Double cream, double sugar. So, I don't need...
This is America. Love it or leave it. I'm just kidding.
What I'm trying to say is I don't need any highfalutin coffee because I'm diluting it with a bunch of sugar. So going to Starbucks becomes a hassle because there is all this other stuff happening that I don't really need.
And that's a great point, Emily, too, that you have so many things. Like you're going in there and what started out as, hey, I'm getting like coffee that is better than the bodega coffee has now become a thing where you can buy sandwiches and cookies and you can buy beans and mugs and who has time if you're a worker working behind the counter to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So how is Starbucks now responding to Howard Schultz?
Yeah, so the company said in a statement that they agree, with Howard, and that they too have a plan to try to focus more on improving their U.S. operations. They welcome his input, and they are working on it. And during the earnings call last week, the current CEO did outline lots of different things they're going to do to try to improve their operations. Focusing on making that app work better. Introducing, some new beverages that might be exciting for people, making sure their cafes have the supplies they need. They were pretty frank that sometimes people go to the stores and they're just not in stock with what people want, including like breakfast sandwiches, like you were mentioning, which are very popular at Starbucks. So they say that they are really throwing a lot of things at this issue. They did caution that it will take time. This is not something that could be a quick fix, but they say they're on it. They appreciate Howard's input, and they're working as fast as they can to try to make these fixes.
All right, Wall Street Journal reporter Heather Haddon, thank you very much. Appreciate it.